Have you ever had a problem with light pollution or light trespass caused by a street light? Today, we're meeting Cork Astronomy Club member Declan. We're going to talk about his experiences with light pollution, street lights, and how he solved them. So Declan, you're a member of Cork Astronomy Club. What sparked your interest in light pollution?
Hi Eddie. I've been interested in astronomy for quite some time now, but about 4 years ago or so I started to take some photographs of the night sky. It can be a challenging hobby, a technical one, but there's a creative side to it too, and there's an element of reconnecting with the wonder that we would have felt, looking up at the sky as kids growing up. Light pollution, though, that's a more recent concern for me. I live in a suburb in the southeast of Cork City, and late last year some streetlights were upgraded in our estate, and suddenly this night sky that I had gotten such enjoyment out of studying and photographing was obscured and washed out by these lights that were intended for footpaths and roads in our estate.
Would you have really minded if it wasn't for your interest in astronomy?
So possibly not, to be honest. I think culturally we have become accustomed to accepting lighting as a positive thing, especially if we perceive that it's efficient and it wastes less energy. But as humans, darkness is as fundamental to us as light is. It helps to set our circadian rhythm. For me personally, I had gotten such enjoyment out of being able to study the night sky over the changing seasons, and maybe especially through the difficulties of the last year, that suddenly seeing it obscured like it was quite a shock to me.
Was the difference measurable at all?
So I use an app on my phone to measure how dark the sky is near us. I had taken a couple of readings throughout 2020, so I had those to compare with. We started out in the category of suburban sky. But after this light fitting was changed last year, we had moved into the category of inner city sky, and the light spillover into our house, into bedrooms, and into the back garden was really quite intrusive.
So what did you do?
So initially I had contacted my colleagues in the Cork Astronomy Club to discuss this, but I knew that ultimately it was going to be whomever was responsible for installing the lights that I would have to contact to try to fix it. I thought that this would be tricky, but in fact the City Council has a really good website for helping to report these kind of lighting issues, and a very detailed map explaining which lights that they have responsibility for.
And how did the council follow up?
So when I filed the case first, the council had put a 2-week window on fixing the issue for us. When the 2 weeks was up, the fitting hadn't been altered, and I started to think of whether I was going to have to escalate the issue. I started thinking about who my local representatives were, how to contact the council. But one morning I came down in December and found that the light glare in our kitchen suddenly had been reduced, and these really strong shadows in our back garden were also gone. And I looked outside, and sure enough I could see that the light fitting had been changed.
So they installed a glare shield.
So not as such. They replaced the light fitting with a new fitting. The biggest difference that we noticed was actually the reduction in brightness. It is a more recessed fitting, and that does act as a glare shield of sorts. We do notice that the light spillover isn't reduced to zero, but it's very much improved. The light still does a good job of illuminating the roads and paths that it's meant to, but I really do have to commend the council on getting the job done for us.
So you can see the night sky again?
Yeah, for sure. I can see that the winter constellations are fading now, and the spring sky is coming back into its own, and thankfully I can witness again, all from my backyard.
And what would you like to see based on your experience?
So I would like to encourage others who have issues with excessive illumination really to engage with their council to try to correct these issues. They won't address the problems if they're not brought to their attention, but the system is there, the website is there to allow people to get that engagement going and to try to get those problems fixed. Better streetlights should work for everybody.